Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome to Star Wars Outlaws Episode 4, A New Cope. See what I did there? Well anyway, hooray! Outlaws is finally an open world game. Well, kind of and also kind of not. I mean, the whole of the planet Tashara is now available to exploration, but it's just this one planet. There are other star systems we can travel to, but we need to fix the ship. We have fuel injectors, we deliver them to Wacko or Rodian Mechanic, and he'll at least be able to get the ship to fly, but we still can't leave the planet. We need to fix the hyperdrive for that, but one thing at a time. And the one thing that I really need to focus on now is getting work in order to pay for all of the fixes, repairs and upgrades that the Trailblazer is going to require in order to get my ass moving. Fortunately, we have just met Danka, a Mon Calamari contract broker in Macau's gambling parlour, and he has a couple of offers of employment on the table.
So, Danka, got more work for me?
Maybe. You got an ion blaster? I need someone to hit a stash for me, but you'll need one to get inside.
I can mod my blaster. Been doing it for years, just need the parts.
You know what? I got a contact, a Pantoran named Bilo. Owns a pawn shop nearby. I'll tell him you're coming.
Really? I mean, thanks, Danka.
Yeah. You get that blaster working, call me. And Kay, I'm not the only one who'll give you work. Take a breath, ask around. There's always some action to find out here.
So, Danka's got a job available for us, but in order to actually pull the job off, we're going to need to upgrade our blaster. And he's not the only broker in town. He's just the only one that we know so far. Although, I do already have a lead to speak to a Hutt crime syndicate enforcer, who might have some jobs for us. The Hutts don't have a huge presence here on Tashara, it's mostly Crimson Dawn and Pikes. But it can't hurt to check him out. It's also worth a lot of credits.
How do you know my name?
I keep an eye out for new talent. Name's Varric, and I've got a real job for you.
I hope a real job means real credits.
It does for the Hutts. The Pikes are muscling in on Jabba's creature smuggling business, stealing his buyers in the core worlds. Find out who they're selling to, then take out their factory farm.
Half up front or no dice?
You'll get paid when you deliver.
That works too.
Those coordinates will take you to my contact. Don't keep her waiting.
So we've got another job, this time for the Hutts. It's probably going to mean upsetting the Pikes though. Then again, the Pikes already don't like me very much, so it's... Well, I was going to say it's no big deal. It can actually be a big deal.
Rick's contact's out on the step. Feel like going for a ride next?
At the moment, I'm basically neutral with the Hutts. I've got a good reputation with the Crimson Dawn, but I've got a bad reputation with the Pikes. This means I get good deals from Crimson Dawn affiliated merchants. I get offers of decent jobs with Crimson Dawn affiliated contract brokers. I get the exact opposite with Pike merchants and brokers. If my reputation with the Pikes ever drops to hated, I'll not only get terrible deals from their brokers and their merchants, they'll actually start sending hit squads out after me. I should probably try to avoid that. First though, following the main story quest and the job from Danka, and I'm going to need to equip an ion module to my blaster.
Hey, you Bilo? Danka sent me.
Ah, yes. I heard you were coming.
At the start of the game, your blaster is actually kind of bad. You're almost always better off picking up scavenged weapons dropped by enemies and using those until they run out of ammo, but it can be upgraded to be extremely powerful. That's going to take some time though. But one thing that is good about your blaster is its versatility.
Great. And, got any ion energy converters for blasters?
You're new around here. Those aren't legal. Only syndicates have hardware like that.
Oh, okay, right. Waka, I need a black market part for my blaster.
You're gonna have to steal that. Either from the Pikes or Crimson Dawn. If they trust you, they'll let you walk right into their turf. But if they don't...
I gotta keep it quiet. I get it.
So those are my two options. Now, because I do have a good reputation with the Crimson Dawn, it means I can just walk straight into their territory. Although they still won't let me into any restricted areas, but it will make stealing stuff from the Crimson Dawn an awful lot easier. However, this might end up damaging my reputation with the Crimson Dawn, and I've only just managed to get it to good. So, since I have a not great reputation with the Pikes anyway, getting the blaster part from them is going to be tougher, but it's probably not going to make things any worse than it already is with the Pikes. Plus, I already kind of know my way around the Pike District, having done a job that got me this far by infiltrating their territory earlier.
This must be Crimson Dawn territory.
Getting into Crimson Dawn territory here would be significantly easier because I can just walk right in. But I think I'm going to go with the Pikes. And because of the job that I did earlier, there's now a much easier way into Pike territory. But more on that in a bit. First, let's get Nick's fed.
Ooh, something smells smoky.
And there is actually a point to this, other than just, oh, isn't he cute? I mean, he is cute. Nick's is absolutely adorable.
Let's see what's on the menu.
But there's a different Nick's food stuff that you can find on each planet that you explore. Here on Tashara, it's Shay Mosca. And they do each serve a purpose. And they're definitely worth collecting. Even if this thing does...
One Che Mosca, please.
Cost 200 credits. This is an expensive meal.
Hey, look at this. Wow, that smells great. Huh, looks like it's all grown right here on Tashara.
Yeah, it's a quick time event. Sorry. But it's not difficult.
Let's eat.
And they're all definitely
You
worth
first.
doing because of the new abilities that they unlock for Nyx.
Oh, better than Brem's fish and grits, huh?
Plus, I mean, it's Nyx. I mean, he's adorable. And anything that involves Nyx is always worth doing. And also, the very first thing that we said we were going to do when we woke up in our squat above Bram's Cantina on Cantonica Bight was let's get Nyx
So
fed.
much flavor in these peppers.
And while it did take her a day and a few dozen light
Hey,
years,
great work on this dish.
Kay's finally getting Nyx fed.
Yeah, it doesn't look done yet. I got an idea. Oh, it's okay. It's ready.
I got to admit, I'm not a massive fan of quick time events. I thought the gaming industry had managed to work that particular game mechanic out of its system at least 10 years ago. I remember it being one of the few things about The Force Unleashed that I wasn't a huge fan of. But it's something that you only have to do once on each planet that you visit, and it's definitely worth doing. Plus, Nyx is adorable.
This is so good. It's sweet and smoky at the same time.
And we did say we'd feed him, so it's about damn time. Go on, little fella, get stuck in. You deserve it.
Delicious.
Oh, I think he's had enough.
How are you always hungry? Goodbye. Oh, me too, buddy. Me too.
So, the reward for doing this is your first Nyx treat, Che Mosca. Now, this is something that can be equipped in your loadout. because as well as equipping yourself with gear, you also get to equip Nix. You have 3 equipment slots, Nix only has 1, and this is where you equip the Nix treats that you unlock, and with this thing, Nix gains the ability to kick away any grenades that are thrown at you and land close enough to potentially do you any damage. It's on a cooldown, but it's not bad. Anyway, job time, because the ship ain't going to fix itself. And I've decided that I'm going to steal the blaster part that I need from the Pikes, because I don't want to risk alienating the Crimson Dawn. They're the only syndicate that I've got a halfway decent reputation with. Now, I could just try to sneak into the Pyke district the way I did the first time, but having completed that job, it's now opened up a much more sneaky back way
Looking
in.
for something?
Hey, Waka. You know where Pikes would keep aftermarket parts?
No luck with Crimson Dawn?
Let me figure this out, okay?
Okay. I once did a job for Gorak and saw the inside of their safe house. That was before they fired me. There's a hole in their security. Just look for a vent.
So we have been here before. In fact, I think this is the exact spot where after spending a good 15 minutes getting this far in, I actually got busted by Pyke security. So this is a very useful shortcut. And it's... oh, crap. They're all getting very suspicious. This is fine. While this is the same place, there are some subtle differences. Things have changed. I can now access parts of the Pyke Syndicate territory that weren't available earlier. Like this back way in, for example. But there's more. Just going to wait for that patrol to go by. Oh, come on, don't stop there. Move. Oh, well, yeah, you could. That's fine. You can also do that. That works too. Now, in the direction that patrol is heading to the right, there's a sort of back alley. There is a security camera there. And there is a guard who patrols. Now remember, if you're unsure about exactly what the rules are in any particular area, look at the top of the screen. It says Pyke District, it's colour-coded in orange. That lets you know that you have a poor reputation with the syndicate that controls this area, but the icons to the left and right of that also indicate exactly what you can and cannot do. So melee actions are fine, but I'm not allowed to shoot anybody. Now we've already disabled the camera the last time we were here. And this vent was actually covered up by a bunch of boxes. Actually, I think I don't want to risk that guy turning around while I'm overriding the lock. So we're going to take him out. Go on, Nix. Have him. Now there are no other patrols that wander around this sort of back end, so I know that body's not going to be discovered. And now I can hack the lock. And this allows us into their safe room. Now, as well as the blaster part that I'm after, there's a whole bunch of very interesting stuff in here. Like this data pad that reveals who's going to win the next Fathia race. All of the Fathia races are fixed, by the way. I mean, you can take your luck betting on whoever you'd like the look of, but if you can find the tip revealing who's going to win the next race, you can obviously make an awful lot of money betting on it.
Hey, this will work. Your intel was good. I have the part. You got a workshop or something I can use?
I'll do you one better. There's a workbench on the Trailblazer I got up and running. I've also moved her to a proper dock at a settlement called Jauntis Hope. Somewhere nicer, more comfortable.
Okay.
So we've got the quest item, the blaster part that we're after. But the main thing that's located in each faction storehouse, in each faction territory, on each planet, is a vault. Now you cannot access the vault immediately. There are 3 separate key cards that you need to gain access. But in each storehouse there will be a computer, and if you slice it successfully, it will give you the location of those 3 key cards. Now, none of those key cards are in easy to get locations, but if you can get them all, you can get into the vault in the storehouse, and the loot in there is always worth it. So that's this storehouse computer sliced. which allows me to transfer the data, revealing the location of the 3 key cards that are needed to get into the Miragana Pyke Syndicate vault. It's all stored in your journal, complete with handy map locations to show you the exact locations of the 3 different restricted areas where you'll find the key cards needed. Anyway, got what I came for. Let's not push my luck. Let's just get the hell out of here. Once you've unlocked and discovered this back way in and out of the Pyke Syndicate territory, getting in and out just becomes really, really easy. And each faction territory on each planet does have these sneaky ways in and out. You just have to find them. Or you can just, earn a decent reputation with the relevant factions involved, which is absolutely more beneficial in the long run, because then they'll just let you walk straight in through the front door, no questions asked.
Let's drive.
But it's not always possible to do. I mean, it's not impossible, but generally speaking, if you're taking on jobs for example, the Crimson Dawn, it's probably going to be at the expense of the Pikes, and the Pikes won't like that very much. Anyway, Wacker's had the ship moved to a settlement called Jaunter's Hope, so I'm going to go and meet him there for 2 reasons. One, the fuel injectors that I was given from the job that I did earlier, I'm going to need to hand over so we can fit into the ship in order to get it actually flying under its own power. And also, I need to fit this ion modification to my blaster. And in order to do that, I'm going to need a modification workbench, and Whackers also have one of those fitted to the ship. So, next stop, Jaunter's Hope.
Jaunter's Hope. Okay, so this is where Walker brought the Trailblazer.
There's a number of opportunities available here in Jaunter's Hope as well, but you've got all the time in the world to explore those. Right now, I just want to focus on getting to the ship, talking to Whacker, upgrading the blaster, and getting on with the main quest.
Whoa. Check out the ship, Nix. Walker's been busy.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? What's the catch?
Walker, you did this all yourself?
Uh-huh. It's hard work, but it'll all be worth it when she hits the atmosphere and soars.
Yeah. You ready for those fuel injectors yet?
No. Soon. Hold on to them for now. Pricey parts can disappear around here.
Yeah, call me suspicious.
There's the workbench.
Repairing a ship isn't cheap. There's no way he's doing this out of the goodness of his own heart. Anyway, blaster upgrades. I did say that your blaster is kind of crap at the beginning of the game, and it is kind of crap at the beginning of the game, but it is versatile. There are a number of different firing modes that you can unlock for it, and this one is the ion firing mode. And as the description says, very effective against shields and droids. Sometimes you'll come across enemies that deploy shields. A couple of bursts from the ion mode will knock those shields down. And droids, because they're basically made out of armour, are kind of resistant to blaster fire. But they're very, very vulnerable to ion bursts. And each different firing mode, and there are 3, although we've only just unlocked the second, also has further upgrades that can be applied to it.
Whew, haven't done that in a while. Dunka, my blaster's good to go. You gonna give me that job now?
Yeah, Philo mentioned you'd stop by. I'll send you the location of the stash. Get inside and take what's in there.
All right, I can do that.
Good. Find me in Jaunter's Hope when you're done.
Alrighty, Roo. We appear to have ourselves a job. We also appear to have completed some Ubisoft core game chat. You know what? Don't care. Let's have a quick look around the ship, though, now that Whacker has sort of fixed it up. Oh, you can actually swap out, because this is the kitchen, or galley, you can swap out your Nick's treats here, although you don't need to. You can just do it whenever you want from your loadout screen. And oh, hello, that doesn't look good.
Illyra was right. Sliro put a death mark on me. Okay. We just gotta figure something out before Zarek Besh finds us.
And the Zarek Besh Syndicate are definitely trying to find you. At random points throughout the rest of the game, usually at the worst possible moment, Zarek Besh enforcers are going to jump you and try to claim that bounty on your head. With one bounty hunter in particular proving to be a lot more persistent and hard to deal with than the others, but more on that later. Much later. Of course, as well as getting actual contract work from the various different syndicate brokers, you can also find stuff to do just by keeping your eyes and ears open.
We can dream. Tell me already, you look like you're about to squirm right out of your skin.
Okay. So last night, I broke into a freighter and grabbed a crate marked Bacta.
Bacta. Thought you were going to tell me something exciting.
Wait for it. I hauled it up to the roof, cracked it open, and what did I find? Baradium. To think he could have blown my face off.
You lucky skunk.
He's worth a fortune on the black market.
We're gonna be rich.
So apparently a couple of the local scumbags here in Jolter's Hope have stolen some valuable stuff and stashed it on the rooftop of one of the buildings. Don't know exactly which one, but according to the journal, it's behind the cantina. And like pretty much all of these things in Star Wars Outlaws, you don't actually have to overhear the conversation in order to find the loot. You can find it just by, well, being nosy and checking everything out. The same thing's true with those vault key cards that we found the locations for earlier. They actually exist in the locations, regardless of whether or not you've broken into the Pyke Syndicate storehouse and sliced the computer to reveal the location of the key cards. If at some point during the normal course of events I find myself poking around Pyke Syndicate areas and I actually find one of those key cards, you can pick it up even without having the intel that would have led you to the key card specifically in the first place. I wouldn't know the locations of the other two key cards, but I could stumble across them during the normal course of events as well.
We'll just have to wait. I don't think my brother's gonna show. Blasted Pikes. My family's been milking Rabuma for generations. No longer, it seems. I don't know if your brother's still alive, but he wouldn't have let the Pikes take the farm without a fight. If the story about the Pikes is real, but it's the perfect cover. You know, the family's savings would completely clear all the debt he's racked up from gambling. Gotta admit, I wouldn't put it past him. It's a short ride south. If I don't hear anything by tomorrow, I'm going after him.
And another tip, this time for a family fortune. A farmer's gone missing with his family savings. If I check out the farm, I might find a clue that will lead me to the cash. And I can check that out anytime I like, but right now I've got a slightly more important job to do. Find out the reason why Danka insisted I was going to need the ion modification for my blaster. A Hutt cartel storehouse. Appears to be deserted. It's also a treasure location, so there's going to be something good in there. Let's take a look.
This is the location Danka sent me.
It's a Hutt cartel storehouse, so I'm not going to be able to just walk right in.
Ooh, that capacitor looks dead. Guess this is why I needed the ion mod.
As well as disabling shields and knocking out droids, the ion mod can also provide a temporary charge to electrical devices.
There we go.
And we're in. I can see the chest. But there's a data pad over here. For Jabba's eyes only. Exalted one. I've managed to make inroads onto Shara. Blah blah. Ass kiss, ass kiss. Yours loyally, Veric. That's my Hutt contact. It looks like this is his safe house. Oh well.
Oh, I guess I'll just take
That's a
these
shame.
then.
What he doesn't know won't hurt him. So we've got a tracking transponder. Don't know what it's for, but we return it to Danka and I'm sure we're going to find out.
Danka, hey, here's what I got. Some sort of tracking transponder. Bunch of credits, too.
Keep them. Wasn't after those anyway. Hutts didn't want to pay tribute, so now instead of their little cash, this transponder will lead them straight to me.
Remind me not to get on your bad side.
Don't worry. I'm good to those I can trust. Which is why I'm gonna give you a tip.
A tip? Like, more money?
No, something better. I got some friends who could help you out. Get you a better slicing kit. Rig that speeder of yours. You'll have to track him down yourself, but that should be enough to get you started.
Thanks. I mean, information is more valuable than credits, right?
You know, you can keep those little revelations to yourself. Talk soon, kid.
So this is your formal introduction to the game's expert system, which along with Nick's and the faction reputation system is probably one of the 3 best things about the game itself.
Okay, I'm ready for those injectors. Bring them to me and then we should be able to fly.
Finally. All right, I'm on my way.
And we're finally able to get the ship flying again, which is good, but we'll deal with that later. For now, abilities. So this is the game's expert system. I've just received a lead on the location of 2 new experts, the mechanic and the slicer. We do actually start the game with 1 expert unlocked, Bram, the bartender, who ran the place that we lived in back on Cantonica. What the experts do is they teach you new special abilities, and these can be incredibly powerful. They do all come with specific unlock conditions, however, not least of which is finding the expert in the first place.
Hey, I'm looking for someone who can rig my speeder.
Trouble with the winds, huh?
Is it that obvious?
Sela Rovak is the best bike modder on this side of the Hydian, but she's not keen on strangers.
That's okay. Neither am I.
She hasn't been around lately. Maybe her friends in Kadua know where she is.
Kadua. Yeah, that's,
Just outside Mirogana. It's a wind fishing settlement.
right. Wind fishing. Obviously.
Yeah, Kay is still so very bad at this. But there's our first tip. So, in order to find and unlock the mechanic expert, we need to head to a wind fishing village. But then there's the slicer as well. Apparently some of the criminals hanging around in McCall's gambling parlour back in Mirogana might know a thing or two about how to contact the slicer. But first, Whacker's ready for the fuel injectors. So we're finally able to get the Trailblazer airborne. And with the ship flying, hopefully, that will mean I will also be able to start accessing ship mechanics and upgrade the Trailblazer in the same way that I just did the blaster. There he is. So I got those fuel injectors, Whacker.
Okay.
Hey, got the fuel injectors here.
Perfect. Let's get them installed.
And of course, Whacker himself as a ship mechanic. So, propulsion. I mean, you can see the things that can be upgraded, although I don't have the components for those yet, but I can fix the propulsion and actually get the ship flying. Which is the biggest priority right now, and, well, also the only thing that I can do. It turns out the ship can actually be fitted with a turbo laser turret. I was wondering about that, actually, because I did see the ladder leading up to the turret in the ship earlier, but you couldn't access it, because there isn't actually a turret fitted. But you can see the various different things that can be upgraded. The guns, the missiles, the shields, and the hull armor. You just need to find the materials required for it. And you find most of these materials up in space. Most of them, at least. Certain specific materials can only be found at ship merchants.
All right, fuel injectors are good. Just give me a minute to get her ready for takeoff.
So, space combat. There's good news and bad news about the space combat in Star Wars Outlaws.
This looks like it's seen better days.
It flies. Kinda. You got another job for me?
How do you feel about crossing imps?
Not good. Kate, tell her not good.
I thought that's a no-no around here.
That's why we pin it on the pikes.
And how do I know Crimson Dawn won't burn me after I pull this off?
You don't, but that's the game we play. And yeah, I play it better than most. You just have to sneak into an Imperial station and delete some data. Easy.
In space? No, she's not ready yet.
I'll be fine.
I was talking about her.
We'll get it done.
There. She can fly now. But the hyperdrive is still on the fritz.
Oh, so I still can't jump. Guess the core worlds will have to wait.
The good news about space combat in Star Wars Outlaws and space travel in general in Star Wars Outlaws is that it's pretty simple.
You're sure it'll fly, Waka?
She will. She probably will.
The bad news, and there's no real way of sugarcoating this, the bad news is...
Right, let's go.
It's Starfield. Complete with loading screens, cunningly disguised as landing and takeoff animations. And the loading times are absolutely terrible. I mean, you can technically skip these cutscenes in the same way that you can hold down F to skip most conversations and cutscenes, but when taking off from a planet or landing on a planet, it doesn't actually cut anything because it takes a good 20 seconds of loading on a fast SSD in order to get here.
Okay, coordinates incoming.
Got him.
Take it easy on the controls, okay? Appreciate the ship.
Right, I got it. Alira, these coordinates aren't for the space station.
First, you'll need a way in. We disabled the shipment freighter en route to the station. They were hauling Sansana.
Sansana, like spice.
Not until it's processed. Pick it up and pose as the delivery.
What's with all this junk out here?
Thank the solar winds for that. But don't worry, this ship can handle anything.
I can at least tell you that the space combat and travel sections of the game are no worse than Starfield. I know that's not exactly a great recommendation, but they're not that much better either. I think we can all safely say that nobody's going to be playing Star Wars Outlaws for the space combat. I mean, it's there, it works, it's fine, it looks nice, but it's not exactly inspired gameplay. It's at least easy enough to do, and it doesn't take that long to farm materials required to upgrade the ship.
There's the ship. Blast the cargo loose.
Uh-huh.
And you are going to want to upgrade the ship, because at some points there are going to be missions that actually, well, like this one, require you to go into space. But then the only thing that you really need to upgrade the Trailblazer for is unlocking one of the experts later on.
Get us close while I fire up the tractor beam.
Nice, Hawkie. That's our mark. Drop the cargo or die.
Raiders, just what we needed. Don't let them hit.
Waka, I know. We have to fight. I can't get the cargo if they're firing on us.
Just protect the Trailblazer.
So we're in combat, and we can't tractor beam the spice on board the ship while we're getting shot at. So, there is actually a lock-on mechanic, even on PC. I mean, you expect it on the console. There you go. You get a target roughly in your sights, and then you hold down the right mouse button, and it gives you a target lock and lead indicator.
This is our lucky day. 2 ships to gut.
More of them? Oh, come on. We were stealing this first.
There's a rapid-fire option for the Trailblazer's cannons that is really, really good in this mode. But none of this is stuff that you actually need to complete the game. You can quite happily ignore all of these ship upgrades and just use the Trailblazer as a means from getting from planet A to planet B. I've found that the only thing that you actually need to get the Trailblazer upgraded for is to unlock a special ability from one of the experts that you're going to meet later on in the game. No spoilers, but it is somebody that you are going to recognise, and I've already probably said too much. The thing is, to unlock this particular special ability, you need to dodge 5 missiles, amongst other things that you need to do, but that's the tricky part. Because what I've found is the only way to reliably generate a ship that is going to fire missiles at you is to piss off the Empire enough that they send a Corvette after you. And you're not going to survive an Imperial manhunt with a Corvette and its escorts.
Wow.
Unless you've upgraded the ship.
Right? Now, let's get the rest of that cargo.
Even then, the special ability that it will unlock is only something that's going to be useful to you in space combat. So you can quite happily ignore it all and just use the Trailblazer as a way of getting from planet A to planet B. Oh, yeah. Shitty mission design. You see, what I have to do here is press E to retrieve and tractor beam the cargo. But the problem is, I'm right next to a communications satellite, which you also use for clearing wanted status if you've gotten yourself in trouble with the Empire. And you do that by pressing E when you're next to the satellite. So, yeah, not the best introduction to retrieving cargo from wrecks in space. And it could have so easily been avoided just by putting the satellite a little bit further away from the location where you retrieve the cargo.
I'll, put the space station coordinates in.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Yeah, you probably won't be fine, Kay. So, but anyway, yeah, introduction to space combat in Star Wars Outlaws. I mean, at best, all of this stuff is entirely optional, and at least it's no worse than it is in Starfield. In fact, it's a lot simpler. You don't have to worry about energy allocation.
So, this is what we're breaking into?
Yeah. Just don't do anything suspicious. You know what? I'm gonna disable the ship's weapons, just in case.
It's a thing that's in the game. It's done reasonably well for what it is, even if what it is probably not what people are going to be playing this game for. If you enjoy it, great, and if you don't, well, you can just skip it. No harm done.
Traitor, you are in unauthorized space. Turn around or prepare to be fired upon.
Negative. Our Darius G-class freighter ran into some trouble. Had to switch to this ship for your, cargo delivery of precious minerals. Precious, very legal minerals.
Follow the TIE escort into docking bay 3. Submit for inspection.
Inspection?
At least we're in, right? Elira, what are we stealing anyway?
Nothing. You're deleting debts. Every syndicate in Mirogana owes Governor Thornton money. The records are on that station.
So I find the data vault, delete the Pyke debts, and Thornton thinks they've messed with his records.
Wipe the data. Frame the Pikes.
Crimson Dawn comes out on top.
Why do I feel like Elira's using us?
Because it's Crimson Dawn. She is.
Sneak in, wipe the data, frame the Pikes, sneak out. How can this possibly go wrong? Stick around for the next episode, and we're going to find out. In the meantime, hope you enjoyed this one, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.